If you promised yourself, you said, today's the day I go to work, I'm not going to have a single snack, and you've been telling yourself this for 5 years, and then you go to work, then 10 o'clock rolls around, you get hungry, you walk down the hall, you look in the faculty lounge, you see a bowl of candy, you grab a Snickers, you eat it, I guarantee you're going to feel weak, you're going to feel disappointed, lack of respect, lack of self-confidence, and you're going to feel yourself kind of crumble on the inside. And that's going to leak out into the relationship with your wife, with your kids, with your employees. Everyone that you come into contact with will feel the weakness you have inside of you whenever you break the promises to yourself. And then the story you have about yourself, if you thought that you're an undisciplined person who is weak, you have just cemented that story in your head by past actions. Hey everybody, going live. Haven't gone live in a while. The weather is unbelievable here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I'm Chris Rodack, Rising Father. We've got our men's program, Men of Fire, and all of that good stuff. But today I want to talk about a really important mental realization that helped me whenever I was down, stuck. I made a post this morning about inconsistency and lack of discipline and feeling like life was slipping away from you. And I was able to dig into those feelings and emotions because I remember being there. I remember being not the guy I am right now in almost every aspect. There are guys far more jacked than me, far more in everything I am. There's guys far more than me, and that's okay. But what I have done is taken myself from a father who was overwhelmed, who found himself depressed, really stressed out, not present. I was fat and sloppy and undisciplined. I was in a job I didn't want to be in. I was stuck in life in my late 20s, early 30s. And I used to be ripped, used to be disciplined, used to feel like I was on fire, even though I was making $0 as a teacher in Salem, Ohio. Like I was making $26,000 a year, my first year as a teacher in Salem, Ohio, like $26,000 a year. But once I got my health and discipline together, I felt amazing. It didn't matter how much I was making. I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment, sharing rooms with a guy, and I still felt amazing. But then why did I feel amazing? Because I wasn't making any money. I wasn't traveling anywhere. I was going to work, teaching elementary school kids how to play the recorder, and coming home, eating the same foods. So here's what happened. I've been through so many waves of being in shape and out of shape. It's wild. Whenever I was in college, I also was in shape and out of shape. There was a year I got jacked, and I was weightlifting every single day with my buddy, and I got in really great shape, and then I dove into the saxophone because I was a music major, and then I lost it all, and I kind of got fat my senior year, and then I got it back again when I went to my very first job because I was living by myself for an entire year, did P90X a bunch of times, and got ripped, and I pushed those pictures like I had an 8-pack. I was getting up at 5 a.m., doing my P90X workout for an hour and a half. Then I was teaching for 8 hours. Then I would come home and run 6 to 8 miles and then hang out with my buddy and then go to sleep. Like I said, making no money, living in Salem, Ohio, which is farm country. And I felt so good. I felt on fire and I felt confident. I felt like anything was possible for me. Then got married, had kids, went to a better job, still teaching, but got paid better benefits, better pension, everything, like better job, upgraded my lifestyle. And everything fell apart. I felt down. Over the next 10 years, I got depressed at times. I got anxious, unpresent. I still had great years in there, amazing moments, amazing memories with my kids and with my wife. But it was a roller coaster. Some days and months and years were amazing. Others were not. I was never able to stay consistent over a long period of time. But how come whenever I was making no money as a teacher, living by myself, working constantly, like pushing myself physically constantly, I felt better than whenever I was like better about myself than when I was making more money and wasn't pushing myself as hard. Well, I just said it's because I wasn't pushing myself as hard. It's because I let my disciplines go, because I took the easy route. Instead of taking the hard route, instead of waking up at 5 a.m. and working out, doing P90X and working and then jogging 6 to 8 miles whenever I came home, I would come home, sit on a couch, watch some TV, maybe have a drink. And that was sometimes. I still played with my kids all the time. I played with my kids constantly. But I allowed myself to disintegrate a little bit. Whenever I got married and went on my honeymoon, I was ripped when I went on my honeymoon. I think I gained 15 pounds at 1 week. And then as we had kids and as work got more intense and took up more of my time, I just allowed myself to continually kind of degrade. And as I degraded, everything else kind of degraded. And I would get motivated, super motivated, and I would, buy a program, I would watch a YouTube video, buy a book, do it for 1 or 2 months, then I would quit. I would self-sabotage myself. I would get super motivated, do it for a couple months, lose 10, 15 pounds, and I would quit again. That happened for 10 straight years. For 10 straight years, I would go motivated, complacent, motivated, complacent. I could never stick to it. I could never stick with the thing I was trying to do. I knew what to do. I still had my same diet plan. I still had the same workouts. I just couldn't get myself to do it. I changed on the inside. I changed as a person. My identity changed. My mindset changed. The things that mattered changed. Though, here's what I was doing that didn't help me. I was consistently looking for more information. I was constantly looking for the new piece of information that would solve my problem and also kind of give me an excuse to say, well, you're in this physical state because you're not doing keto, you're not doing intermittent fasting or carnivore, or maybe you're allergic to and blank and you're just inflamed, and maybe your hormones are out of balance. All of these excuses to make up for what was the reality, and that is just that I lost my discipline. I couldn't keep myself consistent, and I was looking outward instead of looking inward. I was putting my value on these giant things when all I really had to do was keep a simple routine and stick to it. Simple as that. Wake up when I promised myself to. Work out when I promised myself to. Don't go crazy with the drinks and food. But not just for one day, for months and years at a time. Do this consistently over a long period of time. And what I'm going to get to is the most important part of any transformation for myself and for all the guys in my program that I've seen make massive changes. The guys now that have Apex have started with a gut, or whose marriages were on the brink of divorce and now they're the best they've ever been, or they quit smoking or quit vaping or quit drinking. We've got 10 plus guys that have gone sober, all through not more information, but through the one thing that I'm going to talk about. So here's the thing. It is not a PDF. It's not a strategy. It's not a YouTube video. It is this video. That is changing your identity. It's how you see yourself. That's the thing that matters more than anything. How you see yourself determines everything. Do I think that I'm competent and able to teach these concepts? If I don't, then I'm not going to do a good job doing it. I am 1,000% confident that what I'm saying is true for me and the guys that I work with. So if you can see yourself, if you can relate to these things, then it might be true for you, and you might be able to learn from them. I don't have a PhD in changing your identity. I have just changed my identity in the men that I work with. I know how to do it now. Because you will only live up to the identity of the person you believe that you are. If you're Tony Robbins, you believe something about yourself. Tony Robbins has a certain idea of who Tony Robbins is. Jocko Willink believes he's a certain guy. Conor McGregor, you better believe, if I said, Conor, write one paragraph about who Conor McGregor is, what would his read compared to what yours would read if I said, write one paragraph about who you believe that you are? What do you think Conor McGregor's paragraph would say versus what yours would say? Or Logan Paul, his name just popped into my head. Whether you like him or not, do you think he has belief in himself? Or Mr. Beast, to name another YouTuber, another influencer. Like, these people have done insane things for themselves because of a crazy, crazy self-belief. What do you think David Goggins now believes in himself? If you've read his book, Can't Hurt Me, and his other books, it's all about this. It's all about identity and mastering your own brain. And I'm coming to you with this because I'm not those guys. You know, I haven't sold billions of dollars worth of books. I'm just a regular guy. I was teaching middle school band 2 years ago. And now I was just a fat band director 2 years ago. Okay, so that's where I'm coming to you from, just as like a normal dude. And I'm in my backyard. It was amazing outside, so I brought my whole setup out here because I wanted to work outside, standing up, get my steps in. Just a normal guy. Got 2 kids, got a wife. My flex car is my Dodge Ram. And I'm telling you that your life can change if you change your mindset and your identity. You don't have to do anything crazy. You don't have to search for that golden nugget of information. You have to believe a certain thing about yourself. And that is that you're capable of more than you currently do. If you believe you are capable of great things, then you will do it. And I know that sounds so silly, maybe stupid. It sounds so Disney. But it's true. And you have the option to believe these things or to not believe these things. I have chosen to believe these things. If this is like the world of Tony Robbins, this is the world of Jim Rohn, of Earl Nightingale, the guys who, you know, the famous secret. If you watch that YouTube video, read that book, The Most Famous Secret, he talks about imagining what you want in the world, speaking it to the universe, affirmations. That's a whole world that some people choose to believe in. Other people don't. And the crop of people who choose to believe in that world, I have found, are wildly more successful than the people who think all that stuff is stupid. The crop of people who think affirmations are dumb, positive thinking is dumb, setting goals above where you actually believe you can be are dumb, that crop of people aren't really achieving much. The crop of people who think you can go after life, you can do anything you want, you can speak what you want to the universe and it will happen, you can guide your mind like a torpedo, that crop of people is making far more money than the other group. They're much more fun to be around. They're much more wise. They're much more enlightened. They're much happier. They're much more positive. They're people that I respect and that I look up to, that I want to be like. So you can choose who you want to be. You get to choose your beliefs. You get to choose your thoughts and choose what you want to believe in this world. I truly believe that your identity, the story you have about yourself that you believe in, creates your entire reality right now. Everything that's going to happen to you will happen in line with who you believe you are. Do you think you're a distracted person? You're going to be distracted today. Do you think you're somebody who's disciplined and consistent and will get a lot done today? Then you will get a lot done today. And then here's what happens. You believe those things, and then your actions line up with that, and you either prove or disprove your belief. James Clear in Atomic Habits also talks about this. So what you do today then proves or disproves these beliefs about yourself, and then you reinforce the story you have about yourself. I'll give you some examples of whenever I was in shape and ripped and disciplined before I got married. I knew after suffering and punishing myself that I would not be tempted at school anymore. And if there's any teachers out there listening, you know that faculty lounge is just nonstop sugar. I mean, you go in every single day, there's cakes and bagels, and there's not a single gram of protein that ever enters the faculty lounge. And the same people are always the same teachers were always the first teachers to reach that faculty lounge. And if you're a teacher that worked with me, some of my buddies, we always knew those teachers. Like as soon as we got that email about the donuts are here, man, those same teachers were always there. And after I proved to myself that after I proved to myself that stuff wouldn't take me off course anymore, I didn't even have an ounce of myself that believed that it would. After I proved to myself that it wouldn't take me off course. Because when I first moved to Salem, Ohio by myself in this apartment building, I was still fat. And I used to be in shape in college for that 1 year, and then I got fat again when I dove into saxophone. And at that point I moved away to start teaching by myself, and I was still really out of shape. I was in the cycle. I looked at myself, got disgusted, said I need to change this, did P90X. My brother recommended it to me, so I did it, and over the next 9 months got shredded. Through that 9 months, like that really weak, fat, sloppy version of myself, the undisciplined version of myself, had to try so hard to get his butt up in the morning. That version of me was the strongest version. The fattest version of me was the strongest version because he was the weakest man who had to make the strongest decision. But I don't want to dive into that. It's a whole nother podcast. So throughout those many, many trials and tribulations and times, I had to prove to myself, you're strong enough to do this. You're strong enough to do this. Yes, you can wake up in the morning and work out. Yes, you can actually do it. And I know if you're struggling with this right now, you're going through those thoughts. You're like, I don't think I can. I don't think I can. And every little time you disprove yourself, you get weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. Every single time. But you have to keep on promising. You have to keep on doing things to yourself that keep promises and make yourself stronger. Like, oh, I did get up when I tell myself I would. Oh, I ate lunch today and I have a single candy bar. That's a win for a lot of people. It's I went to work today, I had lunch, and I didn't have a single snack. And then you come home from work and you're like, I did it. And you feel really good and you feel strong. And when you feel strong, that carries momentum and energy to the next thing you do. But if you promised yourself, you said, all right, today's the day I go to work, I'm not going to have a single snack, and like I have to do it. And you've been telling yourself this for 5 years. And then you go to work, you're pumped in the morning, then 10 o'clock rolls around, you get hungry, you walk down the hall, you look in the faculty lounge, you see a bowl of candy, you grab a Snickers, you eat it. I guarantee you're going to feel weak, you're going to feel disappointed, lack of respect, lack of self-confidence, and you're going to feel yourself kind of crumble on the inside. You're going to feel your self-confidence and everything about you just crumble. And that's going to leak out into the relationship with your wife, with your kids, with your employees. Everyone that you come into contact with will feel the weakness you have inside of you whenever you break the promises to yourself. And then the story you have about yourself, if you thought that you're an undisciplined person who is weak, you have just cemented that story in your head by past actions. However, if you have the story in your head that you're strong and you don't give in and you broke a promise, then you have doubt and fear. That's whenever we get doubt and fear. And then we say, well, I don't know if this goal I'm going to set for myself is going to come true because in the past I broke this promise to myself. And then you're afraid to take risks. You're afraid to invest in yourself, and you play it safe and you turn into a perfectionist because you don't trust yourself anymore. So if there's not a guaranteed perfect outcome, then you don't even attempt it. All of this is mindset. See, I'm not talking about bicep curl techniques, squat. All that stuff is easy. You want to get ripped, it's easy. Calorie deficit workout. That's it. I can give you any workout plan, it's fine. Ours is the best, of course. And we've got the best people. But it doesn't matter. You just got to stay consistent. The thing that matters is your mindset. It's your identity. It's the story you tell yourself about yourself. You need people in your life who are going to help you craft this story and get you out of the funk you're in. I needed people. I hired coaches and mentors and did programs. I read books and podcasts, and I had to brainwash myself to get myself out of this mental funk. I had to battle myself. I had to overcome myself to achieve more. It's all mindset. It's all identity. It's all perspective. I also had to dig deep into my trauma and my emotions and say, why do you feel like a failure? Why are you afraid to fail? what is going on? And through journaling and exercises and meditating and talking and sharing with other guys, I was able to finally dig all this out. Because it is so painful to watch your life slip away. Just like I detailed in my post this morning. And I had to cut some of my caption off. I was journaling this morning, sitting outside, writing that post caption. I meant it to be 6 sentences, and it was like 2 pages of my Google Doc. And then I tried to paste it into my Instagram caption, and it like cut off halfway because I had too many words. There was a lot more that I wanted to say, but I had to cut it off because I was just remembering all these feelings I had of laying in bed, feeling myself and being like, oh, again? I ate too much again? I gave up again? I don't like the way I feel again? And it was like, man, this has been 5 years. This has been 10 years. When are you gonna get out of this? When are you finally gonna break free of all this? And you don't know. Sometimes you just don't know. And I'm talking about, weight. For some guys, this is drinking. It's like you told yourself you weren't going to drink, and then you go out with your buddies, you feel good, you have one, and then all of a sudden you have 6, and you're like, again? I told you. And it feels so bad when you're breaking these promises to yourself. You're like, man, I broke that promise to you, Chris, again? I thought you loved me more than that. You're telling yourself, I thought you loved me more than this, that you're going to once again give up on me. That's what it is when we break promises to ourselves. We're depriving love to ourselves. We're saying, no, you don't deserve discipline. You don't deserve me to push you to the max. You don't deserve it. I'm going to take the easy road. I'm not going to let you become what you could become because I want something tasty in my mouth right now. Or life's too hard, so I'm going to have this drink or this vape or this smoke. Or I'm going to look at this thing that makes me feel good. Even though I know it's bad for me and crushes me on the inside. You don't deserve the true love that comes from self-discipline. How amazing it feels to be on this patio at 4:30 a.m. when the moon is out, when the stars are shining, and I'm hanging upside down on a pull-up bar or doing pull-ups or sitting in the sauna, journaling, doing Wim Hof breath work. And I can look back on my life now and say, man, for the past years now, I've been disciplined. This isn't a phase anymore. I have become a person who is disciplined. So what I tell every single guy in my program, I say, this is unlike other things. If you want to get ripped for 90 days and have some people post you on their wall and say, look go do that program. That's not what this is. This is us transforming you from the inside out. This is not a phase. I want you to become a disciplined and consistent man who keeps promises to himself and to his family. That is what I want for you. I don't want you to look back on this time with me and say, I did that thing once, like a notch on your belt. I want you to say, that was the time in my life that everything changed, that I changed my mindset, I changed my identity, I finally became disciplined and consistent. That was the year I pivoted and I decided to rise. That's what I want for every guy that comes into my program. So what I want for you, whether you're in my program or not, I want you to realize that you're looking in the wrong place. If you're stuck in any area of your life, not just physical, marriage, parenting, even business. I'm not a business guru. I'm on my way, but I'm not one right now. I've made incredible changes in my life. I have business guru coaches, but I can tell you that it's all the same. And they all say the same thing. They say what I'm saying. And that is that if you want anything to change, you have to change. You have to change. You have to change your mindset, your identity, the story you have about yourself. So that's what you have to do, right? That's the philosophy. Now here's the strategy. So how do you do that? You do it through small actions. You do it by keeping promises to yourself. That's what my entire program is built around, is keeping promises to yourself. And then we surround you with a support network and me and systems and awesome guys to help push you to make sure you keep those small promises to yourself. So then you can look back 12 months from now when you're at the amazing retreat with us and say, oh my God, look what happened. Oh my God, you can reach down, feel abs, and feel the fire in your chest. If you don't have abs right now and you don't feel great, like you don't love the way you look, and you've been stuck this way for years, let me tell you, it might sound external and selfish and aesthetic and all that stuff, but I don't care. It feels amazing to love yourself, to love the way you look. It fills you with confidence, fire. If you're in sales, you will sell more if you like the way you look. Your confidence will come through. You will speak better. Your kids will look to you with inspiration and say, I want to be like Dad. It's an amazing thing. I don't want to get too off topic. I can weave, and I can go in circles. But this is... Okay, so I went too off topic. I talked about the philosophy, and I'm talking about the strategy, which is keeping promises to yourself and how to actually do the thing. And with my program, I was talking about my program is built around this. Yes, back on track. So here's what to do, all right? Down to earth, strategic things. Do these things, and then you'll be good, right? But here's the thing. This is, like I talked to you about philosophy, this is what to know. This is the information that I just told you information isn't enough. So no, this isn't enough. That's why I have my program, because information's not enough. But if you take this information and run with it and by yourself, 12 months from now, you don't need anybody and you're doing it, then great. Morning routines. You've heard it before. Do it. Create a simple one. Know your wake-up time. Find a wake-up time. Set it 1 hour earlier than whatever it is. If you wake up at 6 a.m., set it for 5 a.m. I wake up later than I used to. 2-3 years ago, I used to wake up at 3:45. Now I wake up at 4:30. On Saturdays or Sundays, if I stay up later with my wife, I extend it like an hour. But no matter what, I do these things in the morning. I journal, breathing, active service to my wife. For me, that's usually always doing the dishes. Been praying, gratitude, and exercising. I've been doing today I did some yoga. I do every single day, okay? And you're going to see some people say, oh, your morning routine doesn't have to be 100 steps. Oh, it needs to be 5. That doesn't matter. Here's what I tell my guys when they come into my group. I say, your morning routine should be whatever you need to compound into the person you want to be 12 months from now. So add into your morning routine things that you want to do 1,000 times in a row so that a year from now, 365 times in a row, so that a year from now you will become a person. Like compounding interest. You put $100 a week away in a savings account. A year from now, you've got a lot more money. You do breath work every single day. A year from now, who knows what happens to you? You stretch every day in the morning for a year. That's part of your morning routine. Who knows what happens to you? You journal, you listen to podcasts, you read books, you practice. You're a negative person and you practice gratitude every single day for a year. What will you be like? What opportunities will you see? Who will you be a year from now if you do that? Put that into your morning routine. Now, the important part, don't break it. Stick to it. Keep your promises to yourself. In my program, we also have checklists for marriage, for parenting. We have strategies for being present, transitions in the day, evening routines. But we're already at 30 minutes, so let's not go into all that. But I want you to create a morning routine that's simple. Don't do exactly what I do. Think, who's the man I want to be, or woman if you're listening to this and you're a woman. We've got more and more lady listeners, so hello, ladies. So who do I want to be a year from now if I do these things over and over and over again and they compound like interest in a bank account? I'm going to put that into my routines and then do not break them. Just know going into it that if you break them, you will feel weaker and your self-confidence will die, your self-respect will die, and you won't feel as strong. However, if that happens, get over it quickly. We call that pivoting and rising. You pivot and you rise. You get right back to it. Try to stack consistency so you can once again believe in yourself. You can once again believe the promises you make to yourself, and you can develop that discipline. People think, well, I'm not disciplined. What do I need to do to develop discipline? Oh, I need to go to this 3-day $30,000 event in the mountains to get my discipline back. No, you need to wake up on time for a month in a row. I just ended my 6-day fast, and I posted about this. Hitting your macros or your nutrition for 30 days in a row is harder than doing a 6-day fast. Much harder. Physical suffering is easier to go through than mental consistency. Developing the willpower to be disciplined and consistent is the ultimate goal for most men that I talk to. Like I have thousands of applications for our program. What do you need? What do you need? Discipline, consistency, discipline. I can't follow through. My wife can't rely on me. I feel weak right now. Like I need habits. I need routines. I need to fix. It's all mental and identity. It's mindset. It's identity. Now here's the thing. We talked about identity, mindset, then we talked about how. Now let's go back. Once you do these routines and you stay consistent to yourself over and over and over again, guess what happens? Then your identity changes. Then your mindset changes. And then 30 days, if you're consistent for 30 days, you look back on your past 30 days and you say, look, I am the consistent, disciplined guy. Not just an affirmation that means nothing. It's how do I know? Because I've done the disciplined and consistent thing for 30 days in a row. Look back on my past. I've done it. And for me personally, I time block the day ahead, but I also keep a log of what I do every single day. I have a list of what I accomplish so that I can look back on my days, weeks, and months and say, this is what I can automate, eliminate, delegate, and I can continually get more efficient throughout my day, which makes me more present for my family. But I also get to look back and say, this is what I accomplished. Okay? This is what I accomplished these past 30 days. And I want you to be able to do that. Look back on your 30 days and say, this is what I accomplished. And if you can do that, man, then you feel strong and you feel confident, and then you're consistent and disciplined. Then the story you have about yourself will be true. You'll prove it true with what you've already done. So, philosophy, strategy, back to philosophy. You have enough information. I've just talked to you about information. You don't need to watch another 100 hours on the latest fad diet, the latest fad workout. You're not one new muscular study away from being jacked and ripped. You are one broken promise away from being disciplined or undisciplined. That's what it is. You're not missing a study. A missing study is not the breakthrough you need. You need to keep your promises to yourself. When this weekend comes, in my group, we say, what's going to attack you this weekend that could take you away from being the man you want to be? Meaning, client dinner. My buddies want me to drink with them. Blah, blah, blah. I'm going to be pulled away from myself by this temptation. And we attack it before it happens. That's what I mean. What is going to come into your life that's going to tempt you and make you negotiate your standards away from yourself? That is the thing that is going to make you break promises to yourself. That's what you have to overcome, not this book on hypertrophy, which I have and I still study because I need to know that stuff. But that's not what you need. If you do push-ups, I've swapped out my chest workout recently just for push-ups. If you do push-ups, pull-ups, some squats consistently, and you eat well, that's all you need to get ripped. But you need to know how to be consistent and disciplined. That's what you need to have your focus on. What am I doing to sabotage myself? So, to bring it all around, most people are looking in the wrong area. You're looking for more information. You need to focus on transformation. If you want to work with me, you want me coaching you like this every day on our group Zoom calls, on our weekly check-ins, you want to be part of my elite, small mastermind group, Men of Fire. We've got different levels. You want to be part of the highest level, Men of Fire. That's where you get most of my time and my attention, and we dig into your mindset. Then send me a message. and I'll have you fill out an application. And if you're a right fit, we'll have a call. All right, guys. Thank you. Send me a message. Hope you enjoyed that. All righty, guys. See you later. And send me a message at some point. Bye-bye.